Greetings and welcome everyone to another CVMSDC capabilities briefing. Our special guest today is Mark Zykowski of Tactegra. I'm your event producer, Tanya Bolton with the PR Pros team. We have an informative session planned for you today and I'm super excited to be here with you. Before we get started, I'd like to cover a bit of housekeeping with you. All of our audience participant lines are automatically muted. However, you can submit a question using the question box featured in the GoToWebinar dashboard, which should be docked on the right side of your screen. Also, today's session is being recorded and will be available for you to review post-event and to share with your like-minded colleagues. You can view the recording from the CVMSDC website at cvmsdc.org/webinars. Now, I'm pleased to introduce our CVMSDC President and CEO, Dominique Milton, to open up today's session. Over to you, Dominique.
Thank you so much, Taya, for opening us up. And welcome, Mark, to our virtual capabilities briefing. For our audience, we are hosting virtual capability briefings because we want to give our minority business enterprises an opportunity to present their products and services to our corporate partners. And because they can't have face-to-face meetings, the virtual capability briefings were born, and it has been a huge success. So if you're interested in participating in a virtual capability briefing, please reach out to us by visiting our website, and we'll be happy to get you scheduled. Now, without further ado, Mark Zykowski is Executive Director of Tactegra. And Mark is a combat veteran of the U.S. Army. He served in the 82nd Airborne as an infantry officer and served in Desert Storm. After leaving the military, he has had a 28-year career in project management, data science, continuous improvement, and change leadership. He has been a consultant and held operational positions. With Tactegra, Mark has developed proven and innovative solutions to add value to organizations in the project, change, and data space. His empirically based methods are crucial to success, whether you're planning for organizational growth or have found your project in distress. Mark has impressive certifications. He has won numerous accolades and has even written a book, Collision Alert. His passion is helping organizations succeed through effective change leadership. After all, it pays to be a winner. And one fun fact about Mark is that he has his second grandchild on the way. Congratulations, Mark, and welcome to VCB. At this point, I am going to go off screen, Mark, and I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can present Tactegra to our audience. We also have in the rafters Ian Cato, who is managing partner of Tactegra, who will be here to answer questions in the end. So at this point, Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dominique. And we'd like to thank the Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council and all of you for joining us during your lunch break. So we all know that because of the pandemic and all the things that are going on, that's created an increase in operational risk for companies. And Tactegra for years has been helping companies with their internal processes, people, and technology. So we're going to talk today about how we continue to do that and with some of our new things to help organizations through the new ways of work. So we're going to cover today, we're like an iceberg, there's so much more that meets the eye. So we're going to talk today about who we are, and we'll start to go deeper on what services we provide, what results we've achieved with our clients, and then what could we do for you. I think the bottom line for us is we have our history and our traditions and our culture in continuous improvement. And you might call that lean, you might call it Six Sigma, but in lean it's all about value, and that's really what we do for our clients, is we provide value for our clients. And if you were to ask them at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is that we provide value regardless of the services that we are providing. And of course, the question everybody wants to know about when you go and you approach somebody with a proposal or you want to do business with them is, what differentiates your company from others. And if you look here, these are really the 5 things that differentiate us. We're practical. We have, our approach, the way we approach our problem solving is really about solving the immediate problem, but also providing long-term solutions. We make sure our people are experienced. You don't find any new students on our team. We're steadfast, So we've been asked to solve a lot of complex problems, and we'll talk about some of those. A big thing for us is we're innovative. We don't have a cookie cutter approach. Every client is different, and we leverage our knowledge to develop new ways of doing things. And most importantly, we're effective. If you were really, at the end of the day, we can only measure our results by our clients and helping them accomplish their goals. Over there on the right-hand side, you can see Ian, who's one of our founders and managing partners, joined us on the phone today. Izzy's one of our founders as well. And then Katie is our business manager. And we are headquartered right now in our living rooms, but our headquarters building is actually in Concord, North Carolina. So we've leveraged and worked in a variety of different industries. As I mentioned, we've been around for 12 years, providing clients with great success. We bring local talent to bear, but we also have global delivery experience. And again, we can talk more about that as we get into some of our past clients. We are a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business, and also minority business enterprise. And you can see the industries there where we've worked. We've worked in financial services, in a variety of different pieces of financial services in both operations and risk. We've also done a lot of data work on the financial services side. We've, of course, worked in manufacturing, where the roots of Six Sigma come from. We've done a variety of projects in a variety of manufacturing organizations. And we've also branched out into healthcare, education, and utilities. And at the end of the day, a process is a process, and we've helped our clients in those industries as well. We've also won quite a few awards for the small company that we are. You can see there some of the ones that we've won: the Pro Patriot Award, the Patriot Award, and the United States Postal Service Supplier Innovation Award. And before we now consider ourselves a full service consulting firm. And as I mentioned, our history was in continuous improvement in Lean Six Sigma. And when we started, that's primarily what we did. But over the past 5 to 6 years, you can see that we've developed a variety of service offerings. And we really bucket those into 4 areas: process readiness and resiliency, digital transformation, operational excellence program and training, and project management solutions. And to give you some examples of those, and you can see that those are kind of like subcategories underneath, they're the specific things that we do. We, on the process readiness side, we do things like help organizations document their processes. We help them design new processes. This is where our risk practice also is. So we've done a lot of work in risk organizations and financial services, and this is where we practice our risk area out of. The digital transformation, of course, that's a hot area right now. We help organizations develop their strategy around how they're going to transform their organization. Our biggest and newest offering is robotic process automation. I'll talk more about that. And this is also where our data science and analytics practice is formed out of. Our project management solutions, again, we've done a lot of project management work across various industries. And we also have a remote project offering, which we were actually doing long before the pandemic hit. And then, of course, our traditional to our roots, our operational excellence program and training. So again, we help organizations from a strategic advisory perspective. We do deployment and integration, and we do Lean Six Sigma training at all different levels. We also do coaching and mentoring. And then on the government side, we also provide staff augmentation to various government agencies. So this is where we may not control the work, but we just provide hands, mostly in the project management and business analyst space. This is a sampling of our clients that you can see here. And again, as I mentioned, this spans from large financial services companies to local manufacturers, healthcare, education, and the government, and mostly through the United States Postal Service. So to give you some examples of how we've helped our clients, here, this is an example of a commercial lending team at a top 10 US bank, and they were struggling to grow their market share and looking for someone to basically help them attain their goals. They had high operational costs, they had inconsistent customer experience, and the variation in defects across their process was very high. So we came in, and you could see we basically had a team of 5 consultants through a multi-year engagement, and we used our documentation processes. We helped them do process recovery. We built predictive analytics. We helped them improve their customer data and improve their risk controls, and ultimately developing and designing a methodology for them. And you can see there sampling of some of the increase. They have a 43% increase in loans closed per full-time equivalent. We consolidated their locations from 64 to 4 locations. Large operational costs there to maintain those locations, 28% headcount reduction, and a 30% operational cost savings. Another example was we had a top 10 U.S. bank who had quite a few matters requiring attention from the OCC. Again, this was for Tactegra consultants through a multi-year engagement. And you can see it's a pretty consistent theme here. We added to this process design some program and project management as well. But you can see here that ultimately the goal here was to identify gaps in their process, remove those MRAs, and allow them to basically pass the audit from the OCC. Their MRAs were cleared, they had no fines levied, and ultimately we developed standard methodologies for them. So as I mentioned earlier on, and this is the slide that I'm really excited about. We started out and we were looking for new ways to provide services to our clients. And what you can see here is that these are some of the newest service offerings that we have, or tools that we have. The first one up on the upper left-hand side, we call it our project performance process. So we did a project to figure out what the root causes of project failures were, and we developed basically countermeasures to increase the chances of project success. So normally you'll hear that anywhere from 50 to 85% of projects fail, and that's what we use this process for with our clients, is to basically bulk up the chances of project success. The next one over here is our veteran to PM. So we're currently offering and building a 20-person class to offer to veterans at no charge to basically train them in project management. As we go around the clock here, we've partnered with a company called Creato, and we are offering their Compass tool primarily as a project portfolio management tool, and helping organizations manage their projects and understand all the data in their project portfolios. The next area here is what we're calling our version, or our new version, of Lean Six Sigma. So we have a rapid process enhancement and strategic process enhancement, which, depending on the duration that we're working on, those two areas, that's a process that we have developed to help organizations streamline their continuous improvement efforts. The next area here is robotic process automation, as I mentioned at the top. This is basically, we've partnered with an organization called Nintex, and these guys provide a full stack process management tools and technologies, starting with managing your processes and documenting them, to automating them and ultimately optimizing them. And we are really focusing on the robotic process automation because many organizations are working to either reduce their headcount or to increase the efficiency of the people that are still working at their company. And then the last thing that we recently came up with here was, if you look at what a lot of organizations are talking about now in light of the pandemic, what you'll hear words like resiliency and sustainability. And what we realized is, as we started talking through that, was, how can we help organizations do that, but also how can we create a maturity model? And that's what the R2S2 model is. It's a measures an organization. It's like a scorecard or a maturity model for reliability, resiliency, stability, and sustainability. And this is basically an assessment that will help organizations, because what we realized is these 4 things really go hand in hand. You can't be resilient and bounce back if your processes aren't stable, if your organization isn't sustainable, and your processes and your people and your systems aren't reliable. So again, this is our Skunk Works, our newest offerings that we've developed here, and as we're continuing to roll out across our client base and to our new clients. So again, I'm not going to read these slides to everybody, but as I mentioned, we did work with the United States Postal Service, and we've worked with a variety of operational organizations. And you could see here that we typically get similar reviews. I think people ask me as a consultant, what was the most rewarding compliment I ever got. And I was in a location one time, and the person told me that every time I came, they learned something new. So I felt that's pretty rewarding as a consultant to hear that. So really, that's the end of my formal presentation. I know we may have some questions, but really my question to you is, how can we add value to you? We're excited, as I said, to roll out these innovations to show our ability to earn your trust and ultimately to add value to your company. So at that point, I guess, Dominique, I'll turn it back to you, and we can take any questions.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I just want to take a moment to introduce Ian as well properly. As a managing partner of Tactegra, Ian is the co-founder of the organization and is a seasoned leader in Lean Six Sigma program design and team effectiveness. With a passion for creating a customer-centric experience, Ian has a proven record of delivering profitable results focused on cost optimization and revenue generation. He brings 30 years of military and corporate experience to the Lean Six Sigma industry. So both you and Ian are here to answer questions. I'm just curious. Ian, can you hear me?
I can.
What prompted you to start this organization?
I think when Izzy and I met when we were both working at Bank of America back in the early 2000s, and we saw the need to take a different approach than what most corporations were doing with the methodology. We saw the need to take it so that the methodology itself is very expansive, and it could do so many things, and we saw that people were actually truncating the outputs that they could get from the methodology. So we decided, hey, if we can't change the corporate mindset, let's go out and show people the expansive nature of this methodology, and maybe they will adopt this the way we profess that it could actually work for them in their environments.
Excellent, excellent. So to both of you, if I am BMW, Bank of America, why would I hire Tactegra over one of the big four companies?
Well, I think, as I mentioned at the top, innovation is our big thing in adding value. I think our big thing is, we don't have, we've gotten better certainly about standardizing some of our approaches, but, we're constantly adjusting based on what the client's needs and the success of the project are. So you won't find many consulting organizations where the owners are involved with projects. We're all sitting around, scratching our heads. How can we make this better? How can we make this succeed? Why isn't maybe things aren't working, and how can we quickly change it up to make it work? And I think people will say that, people will ultimately say, hey, you guys, we hear it all the time, we've had 4 consultants in here or 2 consultants in here already. And then sometimes they'll be like, well, they didn't do it that way. And we're like, well, yeah, we kind of know that, right? So that's why we're trying different things. But I think that's the big thing is that, we're constantly scratching our heads. And, although we certainly use data and that's our pedigree, at the end of the day, we constantly have to ask the client, what does success look like, and make sure we're adjusting our approach and come up with new things to make sure that our clients are succeeding.
Excellent. So you're not using a cookie cut approach, as you said earlier, it's a customized approach, which makes a difference because every organization is completely different. Ian, you want to add to that?
Sure, let me add some color to that. So one of the things that I believe COVID-19 has done is kind of ripped the Band-Aid off the wound that many companies are suffering through. And one of the things so previous to COVID-19, we introduced this product where we were actually working on our clients' behalf remotely. And you would not believe the amount of pain some managers had with actually accepting work done remotely. The same work done sitting next to them, they were happy with. But once they couldn't see the person, they had a strong problem with that body of work. So what COVID-19 done, it forced people to actually now become accustomed to remote work. And what happened to many corporations, they realized that their processes were broken in a massive way, because for so long they were just reliant on people and technology. And they would use the word process, but it didn't dawn on them that processes were real things. They were alive, they were living. And so now with COVID-19, people are starting to understand the chasm that many corporations are experiencing is based on this process foundation that's not real. So what Tactegra does, Tactegra starts with the process. So we took this Lean Six Sigma thought and mind process that we had for several years, and we parlayed it into this management consulting strategic approach to how to help companies solve problems. So you start off with this unique view of process, which people use the word process in their daily existence so many times that they don't realize that processes are real. If you ask somebody to really articulate a process, they have no clue what they're going to say to you, right? So we take this approach of process. Then we take that standard or that understanding we have of how things happen inside and outside a company, and we say, we're going to digital that. We're going to digitize that. So now you're going to take this automation view of how things are done. Then you think about how corporations work today. How do corporations, there's nothing happening in a corporation today that's not in a project format. So now we offer you project management. So we're taking a complete understanding of how you do business with both your employees and your customers. We're digitizing that to make it more effective, because one of the outputs of COVID-19 is that you're not going to have as many people working for you tomorrow. Right. It's just the way it's going to be. It's part of the new normal. So we're going to digitize it, make it more effective, make it sustainable, so you're now resilient. And we're going to do that for you in this project-based environment. And hey, by the way, we're going to also teach you the skill as to how you can maintain your own process. So tomorrow, instead of you just using the word process every 5 minutes in your corporate environment, you will live through process in your next existence. And by the way, we could also do something called strategic enablement, where we're helping you with change management, because that is also a process that's become real for people today with COVID-19. And we're also going to add our business analytics to that. So we become this full offering for our client base versus the single approach that we took with Lean Six Sigma. And tomorrow, we're also going to add the IP piece to this. So we become this full service management consulting, service disabled, veteran-owned, minority-owned business enterprise that's sitting in the middle of the second largest financial services city, right, in the world. Charlotte carries that title. Nobody talks about it. But, you know, we are a major financial services hub globally.
Excellent.
So that's how we're going to be here to support that.
Thank you for sharing that. A great example of innovation in action, Ian. So the last question I'm going to ask is how, and Mark, you can answer this. How do you ensure, as executive director, that you have experienced people to put on these projects?
Well, I think one of the things that we do is we keep a very strong and full pipeline of candidates and that are, you know, have the various skills and the services that we provide. We're pretty proactive about recruiting people and then keeping tabs of them. And you know, I'll give you an example. We recently got a requirement, and we were able to go back into our system and our tool and our process and find somebody who applied to our company almost 2 years ago, and they were really a perfect fit. But you say, okay, well, you know, where could we start? And we were able to go back and find her and connect with her, and of course, she was like the perfect candidate. And it just worked out where, you know, she was looking for other opportunities at this point. So, you know, we keep that pipeline pretty full. And again, the management team is very involved in, talking with one another to say, hey, I'll be looking for somebody, and I may be very focused on the position. And Izzy might turn around and say, hey, I saw this, I was looking for somebody else, and I saw this person, that person might be a fit. So, we're very good about making sure that we're talking with one another. And again, we have this pipeline. We have a pretty strong process where, we screen them and we make sure that if we're going to keep them, on our roles, as it were, that we're readily able to reach out to them and find them and find the people with the right skills. And then, of course, make sure that they jive with the client.
Excellent. Very good. Taya, do you have any questions from our audience?
I do have one. Let me go ahead and read off this one. What are the top 3 to 5 root causes of project failures? And this goes back to the slide that you shared earlier.
Yeah. So I think what we found was, if you go out and search Google search project failure, you'll get like more than 1 million hits. No exaggerate. That's not an exaggeration. That's that's true. If you click on those sites, you'll get those various statistics, 85%, 50%, whatever it is. I think what we found is it's not really about you'll hear the typical answers, lack of management support, lack of a process, unclear definition of success. But what we found is, if everybody knows those root causes, why has nobody fixed them? And what we found is our 3P, our project performance process, really addresses some of those, or most of those issues, and we really dug deep on the root causes of those. So what we found is, for example, when you talk about things like lack of management support, well, why are the managers not supportive? And then one of the things we found is that they're typically not involved. So we have a part of our process is, how do you involve, executives? That you always say when you're in a steering committee meeting, they'll say, how can I help? And a lot of times, what do we say as project managers? We're okay, we're good. So that's what our process really looks at. Is it's kind of like cause, effect, fix, and again, it's a tool set that supports the standard project management process, if you will.
Okay, great. So I'm going to finish this sentence for me, Mark. I think you froze up on me, but I need to call Tactegra because
I need to add value to my company.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Ian and Mark, thank you for joining us today. I want to encourage our viewers, if you are watching this and have not participated in the workshop, you can reach out to Mark via the information on the screen. Mark, number is 704-998-1336. And this segment will live on their website. It will live on our website. Again, if you're just joining us and you're interested in having a VCB as a minority business enterprise, please reach out to us on our website. And I encourage everyone to visit CVMSDC.org on a regular basis and check out our calendar and register to attend our workshops. The majority of our workshops are free. We do have an event coming up at the end of the year, December 2nd and 3rd. It's called Re-Emerge, and we invite you to join that event. It's our largest event of the year. We're combining 2 of our events, our BOC and our MBE Summit that we would normally have in person will be virtual this year. There will be a fee for that event, but there'll be workshops, there'll be matchmaking, there'll be awards, and we're gonna have lots of fun. So I encourage you, that's gonna go live soon. You'll be able to come back to cvmsdc.org to register for that event. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, Ian, for being here today. And I look forward to growing with you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.